Daily Detroit is brought to you in part by Orange Sparkle Ball. Are you struggling to implement innovation and change within your organization? With a unique human-centered innovation approach, Orange Sparkle Ball, or OSB, helps organizations break through roadblocks and pain points to achieve measurable results. OSB is not your typical consultancy. OSB's agile approach to innovation allows you to move quickly to action and achieve measurable pilot results. To learn how you can drive innovation and success in your organization, contact OSB today at hello@osb.co. That's hello@osb.co. Hello, everyone, and welcome to your Daily Detroit. It is Friday, July 21st, 2023, coming to you from the beautiful North End in the city of Detroit. From east of Woodward, I'm Jer Stays.
And from just west of Woodward, as in across the table, I'm Devon O'Reilly.
You know, I had to sign a pass for you today. I don't know what it is. Did you get in trouble with somebody on the east side? I had to sign off for you to cross Woodward today.
No, I know. I was gallivanting or dabbling over on the east side, but I'm back
I hear
here.
rumors you even made it as far as the Grosse Pointes today.
I may have tried to check out Atwater in the Park, which is open for lunch. I love an open for lunch beer type of place. So open for lunch with a nice outdoor seating. That's a bonus, Jared. That's not even where I've been. We're not even there yet. I'm just throwing out a bonus to Atwater in the Park, open for lunch, beautiful outdoor space.
All right. Well, it's going to be a very busy show. And let's start it off with the official where we've been. And I'd like to put out there that I believe that I'm cooler than Drake.
Well, Jerry, you're going to have to really back that up because I'm not really sure where you're going to go with this.
All right, so here's the deal. I didn't share this on a previous episode of the show, but the night that Drake was in town, I had inadvertently booked a table at SheWolf. I beat Drake by just a couple hours.
He was there that night.
Yes, he was. It was really weird seating there, and now I understand why, because right after I left, Drake came in.
Did they move the setup, the tables to accommodate
him? They were very
him?
particular about where we sat because there was just some like weirdness about like needing to be on one side of the thing and whatever. And they accommodated us and it was fine. But I was like, well, this is a little different. I wasn't going to mention it. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, Drake was there.
Oh, well, point of order. Do you recall, does SheWolf have any kind of private dining, or would he have had to sit just in the restaurant?
I don't recall private dining.
I don't think so either.
I mean, it's got like that semi-patio space. It has kind of air conditioning and kind of not.
Yeah.
And then the interior is cooler as you go on.
So unless someone has some intel, there may be a chef's table, perhaps, but he might have had to just sit in the restaurant.
It's kind of a tight space, too.
Unless they closed down for him.
Maybe they did, but going between the tables and everything, there isn't a ton of elbow room because they really pack them in there.
Well, let's run that back and talk about SheWolf a little bit because it is one of the best restaurants in the city, but I think it is unique because to me, SheWolf is a place for certain times, but not necessarily the place for all occasions. So talk about your occasion and how SheWolf worked for you.
The occasion is that I felt like a lame-o because everybody kept talking about SheWolf. So I stuck a little bit of extra money in the going out to dinner kitty for a while and skipped a couple. So that, because what I do is I kind of budget these things out. I skipped a couple and was like, all right, we're going to do SheWolf. And I just wanted to do good Italian food. It's been a minute since I've had it. I really do enjoy San Morello, but you can only do it so many times. I wanted to spread my wings out a little bit.
SheWolf is very different. The menu's very different.
So very different.
San Morello leans into pizzas and pasta. SheWolf is really coursed out, right?
The inside. So the inside of SheWolf makes me think West Coast. The inside of San Morello makes me think New York. Mm-hmm. Two completely different vibes.
That's pretty accurate. And I do feel like SheWolf is definitely one of those kind of like longer, like you can't just pop in for a quick bite necessarily.
No. This is a multi-course situation.
They're going to encourage you to they have aperitifs, vermouths, and amaros. Like they'll want you to do that. They'll give you appetizers. Fantastic Negroni. So it's almost like they really curate an experience because they'll kind of walk you through what to drink early on, the breads and the dips and stuff to get, your pasta dish, your main dish, whether that's fish or meat or whatever, your desserts, which they have expansive. They have a bunch.
They got
Expensive and expansive dessert menu. And then they do like the aperitifs after dinner. They have all sorts of drinks for you. So they really curate like a whole experience for you, which I appreciate, but it's a thing. Like you're going to go to SheWolf for at least 2 hours and you're going to spend like $4 to $5 signs.
Well, so here's the deal. Like the only way to do this, I realized, because I went there and I totally messed up at first because I was like, all right, I'm just going to do a pasta dish and a thing or whatever. I realized what this really is like a series of courses and plates. And the thing you just need to do is just get the chef's table and then tell them what you're allergic to or what you don't want and trust the process.
Yeah.
Because Otherwise, you're going to end up just stuck in a corner somewhere trying to pick something out of that menu. And if you've gone a couple times and you know what you really like, I can see why you do that. But it's just so much more cost effective just to be like, okay, this is going to be $99 and this is going to be your 5-course situation, multiple pastas, all kinds of, proteins.
99 is cheap.
Yeah.
It can go way higher than that.
That's what I'm saying is that when looking at the menus and the individual things, I was realizing that, I could quickly end up in a $250 food gutter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine if it's I was expecting.
For the experience.
But I feel like at the value I paid, I feel a whole lot better about it. That's the way to go. Trust the process. Let them bring out multiple courses for you. Be able to sample different things. The one trick, just to remember, if you do that, your whole table has to do it. So if you have 5 people there, everybody has to sign on. I mean, this is on the higher end for me. So I was like, all right, this is something I've really wanted to experience for a while. I feel behind because it's been open. I've had friends who've raved about it, but it's just not lined up for me. And so I just got under the wire before Drake. So where have you been?
Well, Jared, I went to a place I've been to in the suburbs. One of my actually favorite new suburban places, Mezcal, which is in Ferndale. The first iteration was in Ferndale. And we, of course, have talked about it on the show, on 9 Mile, just off of Woodward there. Mexican flavor. I don't want to say Tex-Mex. It is pretty authentic, but it's not super authentic. But they have a great Mezcal program.
Interpretive, maybe.
Sure. It's definitely better than I don't want to throw any restaurants under the bus, but it's definitely more authentic cuisine.
It's not elevated Taco Bell.
Right.
Because a lot of places out there that are tacos and stuff nowadays, honestly, if you look at it, it's elevated Taco Bell.
No, this is legit. But they do lean more heavily into the bar program, the Mezcal program, things like that. We mentioned that this was actually going to happen several months ago. Mezcal has opened up in Midtown, North Midtown, as it were, getting closer to Warren Avenue there, right on Forest and Woodward, behind the gas station.
Oh, it's in the place that was the fanciest Coney Island I've ever been to in my life.
It's in a weird location.
Yeah. So it's tucked right next to a parking garage.
It's like
behind the gas station.
Yes.
Okay.
Was that a Coney?
Yes, this was the fanciest Coney I've ever been to in my life. I wandered over there for brunch one time when I lived in the Cultural Center a few years ago, and I walk into this place, and it had granite countertops for a Coney and gold accents and rock brick treatments on the walls.
I think it still looks like that. They haven't changed it. Jared, this has been through 4 iterations.
But they haven't changed it.
No.
Okay. At least it seems like it will serve a place like Mezcal better than chili cheese fries. Because I was like, chili cheese fries, do I need gold silverware?
But this location is almost cursed, you might want to say, because if we want to walk back, you're filling in something that I didn't even get to, which was the Coney Island. But after that, it was a Spanish tapas style place.
Savant?
Not yet. We're not there yet. It was a place before Savant that was a Spanish tapas place from the owners of Vicente's. That lasted all of probably a year or less. Then it became Savant, which is more French inspired. So that was like croquettes and French fruit and pastries and all that, steak and eggs. That also failed. And now it's Mezcal. And Mezcal is a known thing because it already exists in Ferndale and it's successful. But I do really worry, Jared, because when I went there for lunch, it was really, really quiet.
Okay, so here's what's weird about it to me. You would think a place that's got baked in parking right there, but I think regular customers don't really understand how to access it. But you would think that you've got miles of parking attached right to it. You could come down there if it's a destination thing. You'd come down there, park, eat, go off to some other things around in that area. But I get it. It's also in a spot where, you got a bunch of parking lots in front of you and a couple stray houses.
It's kind of on an island in that sense. And we sat outside and
it's on
you
an
look
island
around.
It's so close to everything else.
Yeah, but
it's so weird.
Detroit,
it's 1 block away from Canfield.
But that is the microcosm of Detroit. You can be a block away from the things, but if you're not where the things are, you're probably screwed. And so as you're sitting out there, you're looking at the back of a Shell gas station, a pretty rough alley, 2 abandoned parking lots, nothing going on. I mean, there was no foot traffic, 0 foot traffic the entire time we sat out there. And you're right off of Woodward, but you're not close enough where you have people driving by and seeing you because you're tucked behind the gas station. It's a really tough location, which sucks because Wayne State people live just a little bit farther away. So you're really not in the heart of where Wayne State people are living or walking. There's no campus buildings by you. There's no apartment buildings to speak of anywhere by you.
But although their crowd might not be the dorms on that same block. That's the weird thing. It's on the block.
Right. Jared, again, microcosm of Detroit. It's literally a block away, and they could probably be doing 3 times the revenue.
Well, and that's kind of the thing about Detroit. If you're going to like do a property or if you're going to live or whatever, the block matters. Like things can switch in a block or two very quickly. All right, how about the food?
It was good.
So you would go back for the food?
Oh, absolutely. I'd go back for the food, the drinks. They had some really good cocktails. Great selection of different cocktails with, of course, Mezcal, which you can do a flight of Mezcal, various flights. So again, they lean into the booze program. The food is great. Got some tacos. They have, standard Mexican fare. It leans more towards the traditional taco. Like you said, less condado. Let's just say that. Less condado.
If you like condado, bless you.
Less condado.
But more it's not what this is.
Right. More of the, double corn tortilla, lean into the carne asada, the toppings, that sort of thing. They do a really good job of that. So I would go there if you like Mexican food. I would go there if you like Mezcal or tequila, and it works for a date night. The price point was pretty good. Again, we're comparing everything to kind of like the current Detroit situation. So overall, for a pretty elevated restaurant, it's pretty affordable.
So before we get into more food and booze news, I feel like there is one piece of more harder news that I feel like we need to talk about, especially with you and kind of your business background and acumen. Multiple reports are saying that buyouts have been offered to all Rock Central employees and an unknown number of Rocket Mortgage workers. Last I remember, and I think it's last year's number, I think there's something like 25 or 26,000 employees for that whole Rocket family of companies. If you don't know, Rock Central provides all like the centralized services like HR and legal for the companies. Now, the overall organization lost more than $400 million on revenue of $666 million. That's math that isn't mathing, and that's going to mean some cuts. I saw some talk online that people are really stunned by this, but I'm sitting here going, I kind of expected this to happen. I mean, mortgage demand's down 70% from last year, and experts say it's going to be another 20% this year that demand is down. The buyout includes 12 to 24 weeks of pay, depending on service and a bunch of other stuff. I feel like, here's the thing, the mortgage industry is cyclical, and we now have 2 industries that we lean a lot on that are pretty cyclical.
Yeah, I really don't think anybody should be surprised by this. I mean, the industry, like you mentioned, the mortgage industry is cyclical. There's ups, there's downs. We've had some really good times with the mortgage industry, but there's a bubble. And you don't want to say that necessarily the bubble's burst yet, but it's deflated a little bit. There's no doubt about that. And so, yeah, there's going to be cuts made, and
it sucks for the workers.
It sucks for the workers. This can go into a larger conversation about the future of Michigan's economy and the diversification that's needed. What do those workers do? They have to be able to transition into something. I don't know what that is. So there has to be jobs available. We obviously are in a time overall of very low unemployment. So the stats would show that if people want jobs, they can find them.
It's just a question of, are they the jobs that they're looking for at the pay they want, that kind of stuff.
And with Quicken, again, we're not to say anything disparaging at all, but necessarily just this is the way things go, is I'm not sure that these were the executive level positions at Quicken or Rock Central, so to speak. And so it is one of those things where, they're going to cut where they need to make cuts, where there's a lot of people doing a similar job. Let's say that. Those are usually where the cuts come from in a situation like this, whether it be an auto company, whether it be a Quicken, whether it be, a healthcare company. Usually the cuts come from where do we have a lot of people doing a similar job.
I think overall the impact also is felt in downtown. The biggest employer downtown is now Rocket Companies, formerly Quicken. And I already have been reading articles and hearing from people that they're like, it's slow, whether it's food trucks or whatever. And just even if you knock out another 10% or whatever they end up knocking out, because they'll do these voluntaries, and most companies, after there's voluntaries, they don't get enough. They do layoffs.
Right.
That's just usual. I don't know if it's going to be in this case, but usually that's what happens, is the impact to that downtown work culture and where things are at. And that leads into some reports this week talking about how there's even more office space coming online, and does that make sense? And I was just going back and looking for something for another story, and I found a clip of Mike Duggan in 2021 talking about how things have changed. Office demand is going to be the way it is. And then, now it's like, oh, Stephen Ross and all these people say we need office spaces. And call me skeptical. Call me skeptical. We need more office spaces right now.
Yeah, I don't think we need more office spaces. I think we need to kind of relook at where we're at with office space. We don't need more of it. We need more probably residential, as we've said. I mean, we're really hitting what we've said all along here.
Do you feel like your position has changed on this a little bit though?
No.
Okay.
No. Go back episode. What have we said? What have I said? What have you said?
Yeah. I
We
mean,
don't need any more
if people are considering offices for storage units.
We haven't needed any more office space since the pandemic. What we needed is more residential, and beyond that, more affordable residential. And even I'm willing to be flexible on what that means, what affordable means, but certainly not high end. We need to come down. We saw the condos, the 2 condos sell for 1.5 million each.
Or 1.2 million, yeah.
1.2 million each.
On top of Greektown.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about more affordable type of housing.
Yeah. On the other hand, over at United Wholesale Mortgage, Mat Ishbia is demolishing 5 homes in Bloomfield Township and building himself a new mansion with, apparently, according to the Detroit Free Press, an amusement park. This thing is going to be 60,000 square feet. It'll be the state's largest occupied house, and the second in house size only to Meadowbrook Hall, which was the home of a Dodge magnate. UWM is now bigger than Rocket in the mortgage industry. I don't normally read stuff on air like this, but the snippet includes that there will be a trampoline park, a basketball court, an all-sports court, a tree house, metal gates to enclose a giant enchanted forest, a huge deck, climbing walls, a reflecting pool, a waterfall, art, and a conservatory and studio building, which is going to be expanded. They're taking out 5 houses and building 1 mega house. So someone's doing well.
I was going to say, the industry can't be doing that bad. Sounds like the people at the very top.
This sounds like something straight out of like a book, like one of those like rich people books, like something like Donald Trump came up with.
I mean, he's got the money. I mean, Jesus, what is he worth now? Like 10 billion, something in that
ballpark? I think it's 4.6.
Sure. But at that point,
yeah,
4.6, 14.6, doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter anymore.
It's again, it is kind of like, I don't know what the word is. It's not disgusting, but it's kind of just wild that I'm sure he can build this for only $10 million. The guy's worth 4.6 billion. So yeah, why the hell not, Jared, right? Wouldn't you do the same?
I mean, could there be a podcast studio?
Oh, well, I mean, hey. I don't,
hello, Matt. I'm joking. Side
note, though, I will say, because we want to talk about this, Dan Gilbert, with all his success with Quicken and all he's done there, has really done a lot to invest into the city of Detroit. Whether you want to say it's bad, he buys buildings, he develops them, he invests in a lot of different things. United Wholesale Mortgage is based in Pontiac. And I know they've done some things, but
they really invest in their campus area. They're more of a campus company.
But I would challenge them to do more with Pontiac. Pontiac's a gem. It's the seat of Oakland County, and there's a lot of amazing history there. A la Flint, a la obviously smaller Detroit. There's a lot there, and if you're going to spend X million dollars, call it 10 million, building this magnificent compound,
enchanted forest,
with enchanted forests, I would really like to see some investment in maybe build some coffee shops, some new bars, some new restaurants in Pontiac too. I'm just saying.
Well, we're going to talk next about a project that Dan Gilbert did do in downtown Detroit. We now know, we're going to get back to the food portion of the program here, about the concepts going into the historic book tower. I've done the tour. Have you done the tour of this place?
No, I haven't yet.
All right, we got to do it sometime. I'll talk, because this place is bananas.
It looks
and it's going to be, this lobby is beautiful. It's going to be accessible to all the public who are going to these restaurants, going to this hotel, things. So many more people are going to be able to enjoy this. Obviously, it'll cost some money, but if you want to just go look at lights, that'll be, even that alone. I mean, there's going to be like a serving alley, all this cool stuff. Anyway, opening up this summer, La Supreme and Bar Rotunda for a little bit of a Parisian flair, which I am all about, considering it's Detroit and DeTwa. And I think we should bring back a little bit of that food concept thing. La Supreme, and I apologize if I'm getting it wrong, will offer all-day French fare in an elegant dining room, also on a patio al fresco, in the bar, or with a 12-seat private dining room. Parisian specialties, fresh pastries, breads, and desserts. So, this is the kind of thing that I love, because it's accessible, because you can wander in there and get I want some fresh bread. I love this idea.
Well, first of all, it sounds like it's getting a little stuffed in the market with French restaurants, because we have Statler Bistro down the street. And Bar Pigal. But Statler Bistro is literally like a block away. So you have a French bistro. Now, you said the magic words, all day.
Yep.
Which, for me, that scratches right where I itch.
And the other place is going to be an all-day cafe and wine bar, Bar Rotunda, with coffee, pastries, small plates, wine and cocktails, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This is going to be actually in the atrium and the skylight. So this is going to be great too. Like a cafe. Look, doesn't matter how expensive the rest of the stuff is. You can probably come up with, even if they do a fancy coffee for $7 or something, you can enjoy that. I'm excited about that.
I will definitely find myself here quite often. The question, though, Jared, that will remain is the book tower is taking a bit of a gamble, and we've talked about this, on Washington Boulevard, because there's not a lot of foot traffic right now currently on Washington Boulevard. So if you're going to put in 3 to 4 restaurant, bar, what have you concepts, I will ask, they can be as cool as you want. Where are they pulling the people from to populate them?
Okay, here's my argument. And I've got 3 more concepts to show you this fall.
I can't handle this.
All in the same building.
I can't.
So this is my
too
theory.
much. This might be too much.
I think they listen to the show and understand that they're going under the destination theory. With 5 concepts and all these things in one place, it will be worth it for you to come down just for the book tower. And hopefully it ignites a spark for everything else around it, like the retail and things like that, because there's so much. So in the fall, Hiroki-san, I apologize if I get that wrong, with izakaya and omakase style dining on the lower level. Sakazuki, a casual sake and sando pub with Japanese libations. And then campers, get this, a rooftop bar on the 14th story with an indoor-outdoor cocktail lounge honoring the book tower's original architect, Lewis Camper.
I like it. Almost, I mean, it's almost
this
too much
is almost
for my
like
head.
fanciful. Like,
It's almost too much for my
believe
head
it.
to just wrap around. Like 2018 Devon would have been just
5 places.
ecstatic with
Yeah.
like delight over all these places. I don't know, Jared. I got
You would have moved to the book tower.
Yeah, I would have moved to the book tower. I would have sold everything I had and moved to the book tower. But I have to take this in pieces. So let's digest what opens up this summer, and hopefully it actually does open up this summer. But Jared, it sounds like we will be one of the first people in there to take a crack at this. I'm interested to see. I appreciate your theory that it becomes a destination, and the play is just to get people to come directly to the book tower. But otherwise, I'm a little skeptical as to whether they can get enough people in that building to satisfy 6 restaurant concepts.
I think 5, but yeah, it's a lot.
Sure.
So many. We're going to see. You could work there if you'd like. They're actually taking applications for jobs.
For the book tower?
Yes, I was just putting in there for all these restaurants. They're going to need to staff up. So it'll be interesting to see. I'd love to hear your comments. dailydetroit@gmail.com or 313-789-3211. Let's go to the west side. Dearborn. Avenue American Bistro is coming. Their original location is in Wayne. I saw some pictures online, but I'll be honest, my west side friend, I need to lean on your expertise. Have you been? Because I have not.
I have been. Oh, it's really well known on the west side, particularly on the, I guess, Michigan Avenue corridor, because the original Avenue American Bistro is in Wayne on Michigan Avenue. So, from Dearborn, it's basically 10 minutes.
So is that like the next city over?
Next-ish, you got Inkster.
Okay.
Inkster, then kind of like basically in Wayne. Past Eloise. For those of you who are interested in the geography of it all, is you take Michigan Avenue, you go past the Eloise Sanitarium, and you're basically in downtown Wayne, which is a quaint and a beautiful little historic downtown. The Avenue American Bistro is kind of the crown jewel of that area. Their food is just really just elevated American fare. They do some really interesting things. They got a great bar program. They kind of do it all. It's one of those Devon specials in the sense they've got brunches with Bloody Marys and mimosas. They do great dinner options. They're a great lunch option. They've got a ton of beers on tap. They also have a lot of halal. So again, for if you're gonna open up in Dearborn, they're big on halal foods. So they also have a lot of vegetarian options. So they kind of do a little bit of everything in a good way. I haven't been there enough to really be a connoisseur. It's not like I've been there 10 times. I've probably been there 5. But I'm really excited for this because the owners here are people who have done Unburger. So we talked about Unburger in the last show, actually. They're doing the Boardwalk, which is going to be a concept in Dearborn on Michigan Avenue in the old Andiamo space.
Oh, that's yeah. Isn't it sort of like a food hall thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So it's not just a one-off. This is kind of a restaurant tour, so to speak, and everything they've done so far has been really good. So I'm looking forward to this. This will be really cool.
So this is going to be at the Dearborn Hills Golf Club. Talk to me like I'm an East Sider about the Dearborn Hills Golf Club.
Well, it's not a golf club. That's the thing.
Okay, because there's a lot of comments on Instagram that are like, this is going to be exclusive, blah, 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 blah.
No, absolutely not.
So talk to me like I'm an East Sider, because I am.
Well, Dearborn has 3 golf courses. There's the TPC, which is a private club, bunch of houses on it. Used to be like the old retirees championship was played there. Senior players championship was played there. TPC off a rotunda. That's a private club. The Dearborn Country Club has been around since the 20s. Henry Ford helped build that. That is a private club. And Dearborn Hills is 100% a public course. It's totally open to anybody who wants to play it, resident, non-resident, doesn't matter. It's an executive par 3, so a shorter course. So for those of us who are not the best golfers or not the best drivers, it's a pretty short course. So you don't have to be a pro or even a semi-pro to drive the ball there. There's no par 5s. So smaller course and just really nice there right on Michigan Avenue and Telegraph. So big cross streets. Everyone should know where those are at. They kind of have just had this nice clubhouse, but it wasn't a destination. You just only ate there if you were going to golf there. Now you might have a destination where people will actually go to the golf course just to eat. That's kind of a cool concept. And I could see that being adopted by other golf courses, other public courses around the region.
So I can just roll up there and go.
Yeah.
I don't need a membership
Don't have to
card.
golf. Don't have to do anything.
Okay.
You could show up in jeans and just go eat there.
Couple quick things before we go, because it's been a busy week. The Firebird Tavern in Greektown, which you and I both know, is setting up a second location on Rochester Road, just south of Long Lake in Troy. It's going to be about 5,000 square feet, seat about 130 people. They're spending about $700,000 on the build out. They're going to be doing handcrafted bar tables in the same vein as Greektown, the fancy bar, all that stuff. Thoughts? They're finally going to expand somewhere. It's interesting that it's Troy. It's the land where these kind of things do well.
Bless their hearts. Anything north of Big Beaver is up north for me. So I can't even picture where that's at. It's in the nether region. So fantastic. I'm sure it'll do well. You won't have me as a customer. I love the downtown location.
I mean, if you end up near there, you would go. But
if I ended up near there, yeah. I'll let you know when that is, Jer.
You know, we could always do the oldest piece of internet clickbait in Michigan, which is where do you find up north starts, right? How many times over the years have we seen that on Facebook?
It's Zilwaukee Bridge.
And Big Beaver.
Well, yeah. Basically, unofficially Big Beaver, officially Zilwaukee Bridge.
And then finally, before we go, Saffron DeTwa won a round on Chopped. Congrats to Chef Omar and Anani. That's awesome to see some locals do well. Bon 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 was named one of the top 10 chocolate shops in the country, specifically number 6, according to USA Today, which is good. Also, I want to warn you of something that might be coming next week or on the show soon. Engineer Randy Walker, it's getting near his birthday. He sent me a text, Devon. He's going to bring something to the studio.
Really?
Yeah, he is. And it's going to be rock and roll all night.
Randy, you have power?
Devon, we lost power here.
We are in the dark here.
We are podcasting in the dark on the battery, so we got to speed it up here.
Let's wrap this up. Although this kind of all ties into what you're about to say, I think, because Randy always brings in like really weird stuff.
Bless him. I love it. I love it.
And so what is it?
Kiss-themed rum.
I don't like it. I don't like rum and I don't like Kiss.
Are you going to try it? You got to try it.
Of course. There's no thing where, as Henning has ever said, Devon, will you try this? And the answer is no. The answer is always yes. But I don't like rum. I don't like Kiss. This sounds awful.
Wait, you don't like Kiss? Is this the problem?
I mean, one of the most overrated bands of all time. And they're just, no one actually thinks that Kiss are good musicians.
313-789-3211
Really?
or Daily Detroit at Gmail. I want to hear, what are your opinions on Kiss?
Yeah, come tell me Paul Stanley was a great guitar player. Come on. Really?
All right, it is dark here in the North End, DT. Please come and save us at some point. It is 85 degrees. With that, I am Jer Stays.
I'm Devon O'Reilly.
Thank you so much for listening to your Daily Detroit. Thank you to our members, patreon.com/Daily Detroit. Remember that you are somebody, and we'll see you around Detroit if somehow they turn the power back on.